What is up, YouTube? And you are listening to Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. As always, I'm Kane Jr. 88, along with my cohorts, Thermite 917 and Junior Nation 5788. And on this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the Monster Mile, Dover International Speedway, the site of this weekend's Apache Warrior 400 for the Monster Energy Cup Series. Race number 3 of the playoffs and the elimination race for the round of 16. It was a pretty interesting event. It was definitely better than most races at Dover, so I'd like to hear your thoughts, gentlemen. What'd you think?
Well, yeah, the Apache Warrior 400 at Dover. There weren't many cautions for incidents, just 2. The first one was around the first set of green flag pit stops, maybe lap 60 or 80. Jeffy Earnhardt got loose coming to pit road and backed it into the barrels. That caused a about 15-minute red flag. Brad Keselowski won stage 1 because that caution came out at either the perfect time for some or the worst time for others, and it really shuffled the running order up. So Brad Keselowski won that stage. Then stage 2, that went to Kyle Larson, but under the stage 2 caution, he shut his car off for whatever reason, and it wouldn't refire. I think it was stage 2. There was another caution. Reed Sorensen blew up, and that was the only other caution other than the stages. Then the final stage went green the entire run. Chase Elliott almost led the entire final stage, but he got stuck behind lap traffic and just couldn't move his line around, and Kyle Busch ran him down and passed him pretty easily and brought home his second chase win already, and we all cried. So, I mean, that's really all there was to say. I mean, the racing was decent. There was a fair amount of different leaders. The playoff drama was there, unlike Richmond. This was the cutoff race. And Ricky Stenhouse advanced to the next round by just 2 points over Ryan Newman. Austin Dillon, Kurt Busch, and Kasey Kane were the other 3 drivers eliminated. So yeah, that's about all there is to say about that race. Race ratings, guys. Tyler, go first.
I give it a 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was a solid race. I actually did. It had enough going on. It had enough with the chase. I mean, it had some chase drama. It was very interesting with the the mix-up of track position after the first initial caution. It kind of really threw things in for a loop. And part of the reason why this race gets such a high rating for me is because it wasn't a fucking dominated, just total snooze fest. Now, while you can say that Chase Elliott basically kicked everybody's ass for the majority of the final stage, it still was interesting because let's think about this. Who has been dominating lately? Toyota. They've been dominating everything. And yet, they weren't bulletproof today. There was actually a decent amount of competitiveness. And it was really refreshing to see, considering how much I'd want to punch holes in walls after the last 2 previous weeks. Despite the ending sucking a fair amount of ass in terms of watching Kyle Busch win, it still was good. I mean, it would have been a 7 had Chase Elliott won. I'm letting my personal bias affect a half a point. So, Dover races were solid this year. 6.5 and 8 for the year. Just think about it. A couple of different finishing orders, and Dover might have been 2 of the best races of the year. But still a steadily improvement over last year's absolute awfulness in the chase, and much better than the first 2 chase races. So hopefully this can be a good sign of things to come. Kane?
I'm going to actually give this race a 7. Now, I watched Real Radman's review on his YouTube channel, and this is something else that I thought was very thought-provoking. There was a lot of parity among the big teams in NASCAR. First of all, Hendrick Motorsports finally had speed this weekend. I mean, there was a point during the final stage where they had 3 cars running in the top 5 among the the Toyotas and all that, and hell, even Dale Jr. was running great today. I mean, I'm not going to let my bias for that get in the way of the rating, though, but it was very, very refreshing to see that, this wasn't a race that was dominated by the Toyotas and Kyle Larson, but it was, I mean, yeah, Kyle Busch winning definitely put a damper on things. I mean, it was the same way in June when, the goddamn overtime line decided the race. Yeah, it was definitely a much better race than the finish shows for it, and I'm not going to let that bring me down. So, 7 for me.
Nick, what was your race rating?
All right, I will give it just 1 point lower than Kane. I'll give it a 6. And I agree with what both of you said, but on the other hand, the racing itself wasn't quite what I was expecting for a Dover race. Like I said, there were only 2 cautions for anything other than stages. So I wish the racing was a little more exciting, but like you guys said, there was a lot of parity, some different leaders. It wasn't dominated by Toyota for once. There was some playoff drama, some different pit strategies. A caution at a bad time really shuffled things up. So just the overall flow of the race was something that was much more unpredictable than we've had this in a lot of races this season, and especially a lot of other Dover races. So 6 might be a little low compared to you guys, but I think just compared to everything, I think that's what I'll go with.
Our discussion topic for the week is lap car courtesy, and this is obviously extremely hot considering the events at the end of Dover, where Ryan Newman kind of threw a little bit of a block and really was just a blockade for when the leaders were racing near him and kind of cost Chase Elliott the win. But just lap car courtesy in general. Now, they have a flag for this. When you're in the way, you get a blue and yellow cross flag. Race control doesn't take kindly to you ignoring that flag, and it's there for a reason. You're a lap car. Get out of the fucking way. That's kind of what that means. The whole idea of the lap car courtesy thing, some people have it and some people don't. And it's just really ridiculous, especially when you're several laps down or when you're in a situation like Newman was, where you probably weren't going to get a yellow, you weren't going to catch the guy in front of you, and, well, it's near the end of the race and you're holding up the leader. Maybe you're not blocking him and going all over the place and being crazy, but you kind of got to be a little bit smart and not be a selfish son of a bitch, because if you understand the concept of dirty air affects everybody, okay? And if you don't have to give it to somebody who is leading the damn race and just purposely hold them the fuck up, that drives me nuts. It drives me nuts whenever I see it, in any series, any form, anything at all. If you're slow, get out of the way. You're getting lapped for a reason.
I mean, you could say Chase Elliott had a few other lanes to choose from and get around him, but at the same time, Newman's really hard to pass, and Dover in general, it's really hard to pass. So even if Chase moved up, he probably wouldn't have gotten around him, or he would have still had a really hard time doing it. Either way, Newman probably eventually should have let him go, because I think, like you said, Newman was pretty much out of the playoffs by that point. And even if he got a caution, he probably still would have got the free pass. So it would have just been a little more polite if he realized that there was a lot on the line for the lead as well, and he let those guys go by and just tried to hang around for the free pass. But there's a lot of guys that are like that. I think like Trevor Bayne is one of those that like to stay on the lead lap as long as possible. And I mean, they have the right to do it. They have their own race as well. You still have to respect the leader, because that's pretty much the ultimate goal in the race, is to win it, not stay on the lead lap. So it's always tough to say what's right and wrong in that sense. But like you said, there's the blue flag, and there's just racing respect in general. It just kind of goes both ways. I don't know. Kane, what do you think?
That's a tough one. I can't blame Newman for, trying to block Chase. I mean, obviously he's fighting for his season. But at the same time, Chase is fighting for a win. It's a double-edged sword. And a lot of fans were obviously pissed off by what Newman did. Like all the Chase Elliott fans are probably butthurt right now about it. I feel like Chase should have changed his lane, but like Nick said, he probably wouldn't have been able to get around Newman anyways. I say this a lot. Newman is harder to pass than a kidney stone. You're not going to be able to get around him. He's going to fight for every position on the track. That's just Ryan Newman in a nutshell. It's like his natural tendency to race.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, he was technically still on the lead lap.
Yeah.
But, Chase just stuck to the bottom the whole time and just trying to hold off Kyle that way. But, I mean, he could have moved up and blocked Kyle or taken his air away. Like, he didn't have to pass Newman. He just had to prevent Kyle from getting around him, and he just didn't really do a good job of that.
Nope.
But after the race was over, Jeff Gordon, who was on the 24 pit box, and he was obviously upset as well, he went over to have a few choice words with Ryan Newman.
What's that? What was happening for the leaders, man? You don't think I was racing for my own position?
I didn't say you were. I said.
Just watch what you say, man.
I said thanks for the help.
No, you said it as a Spartan. Oh, I did. You took it that way.
And we don't know the exact words that Jeff said to start the incident. I'm going to do a dramatization. Jeff walks up to Newman. He's like, hey, I got a bigger dick. And Newman's like, whoa, what'd you say that for? You smart ass? And Gordon's like, that's because I do, you bitch. Now, that's probably not what they said. But Ryan Newman, he was sad. He was fired up. But what does that get him? It gets him the crying towel. Big old big baby Ryan Newman. Newman who has no neck. Newman who looks like a half-ton size can of Campbell's Chunky. Newman, you're getting lapped. You suck. You're below the cut line for a reason. Jesus Christ, man. If the roles were reversed and you got blocked, I know you'd be pissed off about it. Because you have the right to be. Guess what? Move out of the fucking way. You weren't gonna get past the guy in front of you. You weren't gonna get a yellow. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. And that's the facts. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. So move over, you big crybaby. And Jeff Gordon, I almost want to give a crying towel to you for being a fucking instigator.
I mean, he's on top of the pit box, in his, with the shade and everything. Newman gets out of a 100-degree car all sweaty and pissed, and then you got to be like, hey, nice moves, man. How would any driver take that? He's gonna get upset about it. I mean, he should have just let it go. Maybe said some things on Twitter like most drivers do. I mean, that's the way you got to do it these days, apparently. But no, he's got to start something. And I mean, at least it didn't go too far. It was just some words trying to see who had the bigger dick.
Oh my God.
But at least that's probably where it ends. They're just both upset their driver didn't get it done. So.
And what I don't get is why the hell is Gordon going after Newman? Gordon, you're retired.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like, you're out of the car. You have no right to talk anymore.
Yeah. Well, plus, if you're Gordon, you gotta say, wow, look at this. Like, wow, look at this big dick I got.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Ingrid thinks so. And so does your wife, Ryan.
Oh, my God.
Fucking Newman. The trucks raced in Las Vegas this weekend, and you know damn well what that means. Where to go to Gotham finish. It's time for a Jag celebration. Cody finished 6th. Jags!
Jags!
We prematurely ejaculated because that big marshmallow got a top 10, his career best, 6th place. I have to say it twice because we can't believe it. Cody, you did it! Oh my God,
It's
I'm so proud of
amazing.
him.
I know.
Me too.
Cody started the race in 12th and obviously, as we said, finished 6th, so let's see what he had to say. I thought we had a really good run today. It was just a little frustrating we couldn't get a top 5 there. I thought we had a fender on them going into turn 3, but unfortunately, that just didn't work out for us. Still, a solid day, and we have a lot of stuff to build on. Well, you're at least true with that last statement. I'm actually surprised. Good for you, Cody. You do have stuff to build on. I'm not saying you're going to build on it. I mean, you're probably better off going home and building some Lego blocks. But, hey, you finished 6th. You can do whatever you want. Well, let's go have some cake. I hear we got cake in the break room.
Oh, it's already gone. He ate it all.
Son of a bitch.
So, Cody.
It's adorable, though. He thinks he can go for top 5s now.
Yeah.
Slow down there. You finally got 6th after like 3 years of trying with good teams.
He's reaching for the stars, though, Thermite. Don't rain on his parade. And it's our
I
parade,
won't.
too. We're bathing in the 6th place. This is a
We are.
miracle.
It's amazing. I know.
I'm so proud. Way to go, Cody.
Oh, yeah.
Jags!
Jags!
Jags! Jags again!
Woo! Okay, it's time for awards. The first one, as always, is the Boner of the Week, and it goes to Jeffrey Earnhardt for the Cup race, where he backed it into the pit road barrels and caused a lengthy red flag while they cleaned it up. Even crazier, it was during green flag pit stops, so it screwed everything up for a while. I mean, thank you for making it interesting, and I know Dover was tough to get onto pit road, but really, you gotta just do that out of nowhere. Oh, it's that hashtag Hulu voodoo.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Next award.
The next award is Passing the Torch, and that goes to Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones is a no-talent ass clown.
Ass clown.
That's right, he is going to take over the duties that Ben Rhodes once assumed. About 2 years ago, when driving for Junior Motorsports and he sucked a lot of ass, I said that Ben Rhodes was never going to do anything and labeled him as a no-talent ass clown. Well, he removed the label earlier this year after his great drive, but an unfortunate result at Kansas, and he finally won a race, and it's completely gone. It will never be brought up. But Brandon Jones, this guy sucks ass. He wrecked again at Dover. Good lord. I mean, so early on in the race. I don't know what it was, lap 6 or whatever. Got out of the groove, lost his shit, and then got clobbered in by poor old Jeff Green. He was like getting ready to start and park. He's like, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull it in. Fuck, god damn it. And then the next thing you know, he runs right into Anderson's maple syrup, and he's like, god damn it, I got a sticky mess, and it's not just because I jizzed myself. So, fucking Brandon Jones. This guy sucks so bad. Congratulations, you got a new nickname. Next award.
All right, our next award, once again, it's Cedric, bitch!
Woo! Cedric, bitch!
That's right, Austin Cindric, on a restart, he got into the back of Johnny Sauter after Johnny Sauter missed a shift, spun him out, and then poor old Stuart Friesen, who had a very solid run going, he hit Sauter and ended up ruining his night. So, yeah, you know, apparently Cindric couldn't be patient and just slow down when Sauter couldn't get it going. He just ran right into the back of him because, oh, I'm Austin Cindric, I don't have time for your bull crap. But that's not the only incident he was involved in. Cindric also messed up trying to side draft Grant Enfinger down the front straightaway. Totally misjudged it. He ends up going spitting through the grass and losing a bunch of spots as a result.
It's almost like a dual award. He ended up finishing 4th, so it's like Cindric, bitch, yeah, and then Cindric, bitch, no.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, when he took the 2 tires, like, that's when he slid back. He was getting loose like crazy, like, by every car. But then he was on fresher tires at one point too, and that's when he flew back to the front. And so, I mean, he had such an up and down day.
So yeah. Cindric, bitch! Next award.
And our next award is Pulling an Ambrose. And you guys may remember back in 2010 when Ambrose was leading at Sonoma, he shut the engine off going uphill trying to save fuel, and he couldn't get it refired. And that kind of made him a laughingstock for a little bit. And now Kyle Larson did the same thing. He won stage 2, and under that caution, for whatever reason, I mean, most likely trying to save fuel, but I don't know for sure. But he shut the engine off and couldn't get it refired, and he fell back to 6th and could never recover. Track position was king, and he lost it all right there. Might have had a shot at the win, but we'll never know. Next award.
Next award is Heartbroken. That goes to Chase Elliott and his fans. I'm included on the latter. And, yeah, Chase Elliott. He bottle jobbed it. There's no way around it. It's unfortunate. And we're heartbroken. I want to go cry. Like he did. Jimmy was there on the scene immediately. Wanted to give him a hug. And, I don't know. There's nothing he can do. He just hates it for him and his guys. Next award.
All right, our next award is the first of a few cigar awards, and our first one goes to Ryan Blaney. Now, Blaney won the Xfinity race driving the very potent Team Penske number 22 car. It was what he did after he took the checkered flag and as he was celebrating on the front straightaway that gives him this cigar. He got the checkered flag from the NASCAR official, and what does he do? He gives it to a little boy in the stands. And then, if that's not cool enough, he then invites the kid and his family down to Victory Lane so they can take pictures with him and the trophy. If you don't think that's the most heartwarming thing you've ever seen, then you are a soulless prick. Ryan Blaney literally just got a fan for life from that little boy, alright?
He's going to trade in his Kyle Larson gear that he had on for some Ryan Blaney stuff.
Yeah.
He's still young enough to be turned.
Our next cigar goes to Ben Rhodes. Oh my God, the former known as the no-talent ass clown, finally got it done. Man, after that heartbreak in Kansas, he never thought he was going to do it again, and we were even starting to question it as well. But he put a good run back together, had an amazing restart on the final restart, made it 3 wide down the front stretch, and made it stick, and never looked back. Well, I mean, he had to look back quite often because Christopher Bell was hunting him down, but he did everything he needed to do, used every trick in his playbook, and finally goes to victory lane in the Safe Flight Tundra. And that also, I forgot where he was in points, but I mean, that locks him into the next round. I love it, man.
Roads, bitch!
Roads, bitch!
Roads, bitch!
No piece of shit debris here.
Oh, yeah. And our next cigar goes to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I know he still finished 19th, but he made it to the next round of the playoffs by just 2 points over Ryan Newman, like we mentioned. But he gets this award because he was saved by a lucky caution that got him 7 stage points, and he obviously needed them. He would not have advanced if he didn't go for that gamble and stay out under that caution. Aside from the playoffs, like, that's just good for him anyway, because he had a couple bad races. So good for those guys. Good for Roush, who's still kind of sneaking in there, making things happen. And we have one more cigar.
Yes, the last cigar goes to Hendrick Motorsports as an organization. There's been several times this year where they have basically gotten the boner of the week because, well, they've sucked really hard, and they've been off the pace all year long, as we have stated too many times. But, man, they showed the fuck up, and I can't believe it. Chase Elliott easily could have won the race. Jimmy Johnson finished third. Dale Jr. had a clean race. This was probably the cleanest race Dale Jr. has had all year and got a finish decently. I mean, he probably could have gotten the top 5, but 7th, he'll take 7th. It's his first top 10 since Sonoma in June, so Jesus Christ. And then Casey's just Casey. But the other 3, man, they showed up. It was, wow. I'm really glad they decided to show up now. Thanks, because you really brought a different perspective to the race, and it's somebody different other than fucking Truex and Kyle Busch and even Kyle Larson just being up there and leading every single lap. So, cigar, you all get cigars. Please keep doing that so we can give you more cigars. That's it. Congratulations. Smoke them. Except for you, Chase. You really did bottle job it. I'm taking yours away, goddammit. Like, you did a great job. Like, I'm just gonna give you one and then just, like, snatch it right back and then be like, all right, man, I'm sorry. You're damn right you're sorry. Should have won that race.
Poor Chase.
He has to learn.
It is time for Best Paint Schemes of the Week. Enjoy the montage. All right, for fantasy, where do we stand after Dover, Tyler?
Alright, after Dover, let's do a quick points recap. And right now, Nick holds the fantasy points lead with 1,161. He's got a 23-point advantage over Damani, who has sprung into second place. 25-point lead over myself in third. And Kane rounds out the rear, 35 points behind. So, yeah, Nick's got a nice little hefty lead after 3 races to start the chase. But let's go ahead and run down the Dover results. And that is Damani coming home with the fantasy victory once again after picking Martin Truex Jr., who came home in 4th place. Nick finishes in 2nd after picking Kyle Larson, who finished 5th. Alex finished 3rd with Jimmy Johnson, who finished 3rd. And I picked Matt Kenseth, and no, good old Kenseth couldn't get a top 10, and he finished 11th. I'm not picking Kenseth again. Fucker. Should have been faster.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
Yeah, he had a speeding penalty.
Yeah, well, he didn't do anything all fucking race. Thanks a lot. I would have been better off picking Dale Jr. So that means I get the first selection going into next week's race at Charlotte. And I'm going to pick Martin Truex Jr.
Oh, it is a fucking surprise.
No reason needed. I just need some points. That's it. Alex, you may pick now.
All right, and Well, obviously, I'm in the same boat that Tyler's in. I need points as well, so yeah, I'm going to pick Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch is an ass.
It's pretty inevitable that he's going to win at least one race at every track on the circuit. And who says he can't win Charlotte? I mean, he won the All-Star race. And, like I said, I need points. No more explanation needed. Nick?
All right. I am going with Kevin Harvick.
Are we about to get it on? Because I'm as hard as a diamond in an ice storm right now.
Because he is good at Charlotte, and I couldn't pick Truex or Kyle Larson. Damani.
Damani wishes he could be here, but since he isn't, we're going to have to do his pick for him. So, here it is.
24!
Well, that wraps up yet again another episode of Behind the Wall. We're 33 episodes down. Can you believe it, gentlemen?
No.
Okay. I can't believe it either. That's why I'm asking. Like, it's crazy. 33 episodes. All sponsored by Perky Jerky. We still need our check. Just saying. So, for Damani HD, we need to stop mentioning him. He's seriously not a part of this podcast. For Kane Jr. 88, he still hates the Toyotas. And he's probably going to plot a... I don't know. I don't know what he's plotting, but he's plotting something. Like, he just got something in the works over there. 917. Oh, man. This guy can't win a Chase Championship to save his fucking life. And for myself, Junior Nation 5788, well, I'm disappointed too. Fuck, I don't know. I need some happiness in my life. We're all thoughts at the end of this podcast. This has been Behind the Wall. You've been Behind the Wall. Grab back Perky Jerky. And thank you for listening.
Like, you could say, you know, Chase had a couple other lanes to choose from, but it just...
Hold on.
What's that?
Pause. First of all, I did not expect that. That's bullshit. That was a victory lane celebration.
Oh.
But I have all the sound effects off. Like, you can't hear anything.
Oh my god.
That makes no sense. What does all sounds mean? What does that mean to you? I know what it means to me. All sounds. Sounds. If it's down, if it's off, it's fucking off. It's retarded. So I apologize. Go ahead.
So next up is Charlotte, but before that, we have a topic. Tyler, take it away. No.
No.
God dang it!
You suck.
Race rating.
It was
In the
good,
worst
but it sucked
possible
ass.
way.
Shut up, Kane. Sorry.
So, Cody, you finished 6th at Las Vegas. What are you going to do now? I'm going to go to Jegsney World.
Disney Jags.
Disney Jegs.
I could have sworn you said like Jizmy Jags or something.
Jegsney World.
Jagsmy World?
Oh. And
Go
our
ahead.
next award is...
Alright, you got this there, Mike.
I don't know.
If that's not the most heartwarming thing ever in NASCAR, I don't know. Then if you think that's I'm sorry, but that's just. I know it's an Xfinity race, but still.
Once there was a girl.
Today, Junior?
And I think it was his 45th truck start. And Ricky Stenhouse made it by just 2 points over Ryan Newman. Casey Kane and Kurt Busch and Newman and Austin Dillon were eliminated.
Redo that audio bit. That was shitty.
I know it was. He had such bad luck in the first 2 races. So, I mean, on top of just getting the advancing, he is... Oh, god dang it. And it is... Can I do best paint schemes and intro to fantasy?
You can please do that. Thank you.
Okay. You ready?
The fuck was that?
a gay transaction.
It pretty much was.
This has been Behind the Wall. You've been behind... God damn.
I mean...
I just lost it already.
Hey, Newman! Nice blocking out there, you fucking woolly mammoth!